Hello and welcome back to the narrative now. The 15th of August, Anchorage, Alaska, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump will be going face to face. The irony, Europe and Ukraine, the loudest voices in this war, are suddenly looking like the sideline guests at their own party. Just a few days ago, Berlin hosted a virtual summit. Zelensky, EU leaders, and yes, even Trump dialed in. But Russia was not invited. And they sat there discussing peace, security, and the future of Europe, all without the country that actually holds half of Ukraine today. But now, the moment Washington and Moscow decide to cut out the middlemen and talk directly, the same people are now crying foul. So, let's be clear, Russia did not even bother pretending. Moscow dismissed that Berlin call as, and I quote, meaningless, and instead accused Kiev of deliberately escalating attacks to try and derail the Alaska meeting. And in Brussels, the panic buttons lit up. EU leaders rushed warnings to Donald Trump saying, don't strike a unilateral peace deal with Putin. Don't abandon Ukraine. Don't weaken our sanctions front. But meanwhile, Zelensky tried to play statesman. He came up with a few principles like ceasefire, security guarantees, and tougher sanctions if Moscow resists. A nice little wish list. Except the problem is that he is not even in the room where the real discussions are about to be made. And Trump knows it. He has reassured allies. Sure, he said he'll brief them afterwards, which really translates to I am in charge, you will get the memo later. And that's the play. Donald Trump has positioned himself as the central broker, the deal maker, the man who can sit across the table from Vladimir Putin while everyone else watches from the waiting room. And this exposes the hypocrisy in full HD. When Europe excludes Russia, it is called responsible diplomacy. When Ukraine pushes talks without Moscow, it's called defending sovereignty. But when Washington sidelines Kiev and Brussels to deal directly with Moscow, suddenly it is betrayal. It is dangerous. It is unacceptable. The double standards could not be clearer. What we are really seeing is a power play. Washington versus Brussels, Moscow versus Kiev, and the middle of it all, a stage set in Alaska, where Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will decide whether to reset the board or keep the war grinding on. So, as the EU and Ukraine shout from the sidelines, one truth stands out. You can host as many video calls as you like, but when the two real players sit down across the table, that is when the world actually changes. And on the 15th of August, that table will be in Alaska. Because let's face it, Zoom calls do not end wars, deals in cold rooms do.